Hey, everybody. Sorry we're running a little late. We got a late start on that gift exchange. I am in here and going to invite the fellas. So there's George's, and here is Mark. Here's Mike and Peter. And JR. Okay. Hey, Mike.
Hello.
You're the first one in.
Yep.
Hearing what's going on? Yes, we're back. And Sarah's excited for these reviews. Thank you, Sarah.
Well, you're not going to be. She's not probably going to be too excited when I get to hear what I've got to say about him.
Oh yeah. Hey, I am here for the question that I really wanted to ask. What comics do you? Oh, there's Dark Mark. What comics do your loved ones get you besides Spider-Man for Christmas gifts?
Good question.
Chi-Town.
Hey guys.
And here's JR.
Hello. Hey, we're all here.
Yes. Here, before we start, let's answer Matt's question. What comics do your loved ones get you besides Spider-Man for Christmas gifts each year? Is there other heroes they get us besides Spider-Man?
Are there other heroes?
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of Batman when I was younger. Interestingly enough, the way I first found out about Wolverine was one of the Secret Wars action figures.
Oh yeah,
because one of my cousins, when I was 10 years old, one of my cousins was like, "Hey, don't you like Wolverine?" I'm like, "Who the heck's Wolverine?" And he gives me this action figure of Wolverine with it. It's like, oh, that's how I found out about
I remember
that was my introduction
with that Wolverine Secret Wars figure. I got the rare one with the silver claws, and I played with it. And years later, I didn't even know it was the rare one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, you guys are always asked. I mean, we've been asked often what our favorite Christmas gift was, Spider-Man related. So I dug mine out.
Oh yeah,
it's this. I got this.
I've got that.
You do? Yeah, that's.
I've got that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got all four of them: the Cap and the Wolverine and the Punisher. And and Spider.
That was a Christmas gift or whatever. Yep. And I actually do have one of the Spider-Man Monopoly games.
Oh, I got that.
I like that cover.
Yeah.
Box art. That looks good. Very nice. Sarah is excited for the review. She's likely going to review with her opinions on the book. Vinkman, what's going on, sir? Thank you again for your super chat. I appreciate that on YouTube.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
You rock, Vinkman. That's very nice. Vinkman, I'll give you a little inside baseball. The crawl space is going to change a little bit. The front page is going to be changed in 2021. And I'm going to use that money to help change that.
Oh,
so I'm buying a new a WordPress theme. So the outline of the site's going to look a little bit different. The theme that I currently use, if you remember on the front page, it used to have a slider with all the stuff, all the stories that were updated. The person that made that theme hasn't updated it and kept up with the WordPress update. So I'm looking for new. I've been looking for a new WordPress theme, and I think I found one. So I'm going to use some of that money to buy that theme. So thank you, Vinkman. You are helping upgrade the site.
Can we tell Vinkman about how I'm going to be featured with my own column on there? Or do we keep that under wraps for the reveal?
Vinkman may rescind his donation he gave. After
I hate to tell you, Dark Mark, we're actually giving that to Neil.
No, are you sure about that, George? Because because this is you don't want to get that. You don't want to give the untykes too much.
That's funny.
Too much power.
Let me pull up my screen before we start. I forget who I signed to what. Who's got this one?
I think I got the last one.
Peter, you got this one?
No, that's all Mark.
Mark's got this one. Okay. JR got me a memory game for Christmas, so this is going to help improve my memory of who's got what. So there we go. Okay. So let me stop my screen. We'll do introductions. Oh yeah, Hornacek says apparently the website's being renamed the Dark Mark Crawl Space. Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go.
I'm gonna have fun with that. I'm gonna have fun with that.
Yeah. By the way, I love how Dark Mark and Chi-Town fight every week for the reviews.
Yeah.
They have a nice little friendly banter back and forth. Chi-Town,
Friendly.
well, it's not really friendly.
That's some of my best work on Mark.
Yeah, I know. I mean, of all places, the insults against Mark come up everywhere. Weren't we on the Black Cat show when you were just like dissing them and these ladies dressed as Black Cat were like, who the hell's Dark Mark? I mean, by the way,
Every chance I can.
Did you notice JR's shaved head? Look at that.
I know.
I noticed it.
Look at
Is
that.
is that your Christmas present, Brad? That he wanted to kind of look like Brad a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, take off the glasses or whatever.
Oh wow!
Wow.
I mean,
yeah.
we're indistinguishable. We're indistinguishable.
I was having a hard time telling him apart from George there for a little bit.
Yeah, I think you and I, Mark, are
Brothers from a different mother.
You're off my Christmas card.
All right, fellas, we ready?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, coming down 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to our ASM review show, and I guess ASM and LR review show. Let's introduce the panel. We got Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Well, it seems like I was wrong again about something. I did not think we were going to be to this point in 10 year. Wait, was it? It's been, what is it? More than 10 years. And we've been dreading. We've been kind of thinking this was never going to be addressed, never going to happen. And it looks like, Spencer's actually going there with this.
It's been over 10 years. It's been more like 12.
13, close enough, but
Yeah.
yikes.
Crazy. We're attacking the one more day with it. George, Jingle Bells Berriman, what's going on, Jingle Bells? JB.
Not much. Happy to be here. Then again, at my age, I'm happy to be anywhere.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
We've got newly shaved head JR. What's going on? This is like the variant of JR over there.
Yeah, boy, I was about to say I thought brain freeze was just something that you got when you ate ice cream too fast, but stepping outside in Cleveland during a Cleveland winter without a hat, that's another definition of one. Holy
Look at
cow.
that.
You're like the Kingpin's dad right now.
By the way, if you do shave it in the summer, put some sunscreen up there. Nothing worse than a burnt shaved head. That's awful.
Ooh, Hero Wing says, no offense, JR, but without your glasses, you probably look like the vulture.
Well, I'm sorry, Heroine. I've already taken offense, and you're on my list along with Terry Kavanaugh and Tyson. Yeah. So
I love you. Remember the dude's name that you have a.
I never forget a grudge.
Adam wants to know if you're joining the Marines, JR. Matt says this podcast now has 3 Lex Luthors in it.
Actually, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
Yeah,
Hat.
yeah. Chi-Town's where to have it.
I'm
Yeah.
wearing a hat. Yeah,
You
I
both
got to
do,
shave my
yeah.
head sooner or later, but
Speaking of Chi-Town, there's Chi-Town. We invited him on to battle Dark Mark against these ASM reviews. So
and a wise decision that was. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas to you too.
And happy holidays and happy Hanukkah and.
yeah,
JR, make sure if you want, you come down to Chi-Town and feel that nice windy air hitting your head, and you will get a brain freeze.
Chi-Town and Dark Mark are ASM reviewers on the front page. By the way, Hornacek says JR hates Nathan Lubinsky just as much as the Vulture does. So there you go.
There we go.
Yeah. We also have Dark Mark. What's going on, Dark Mark? How are you?
Not too much. I can tell you this, though. I did not know that Chi-Town was going to be on tonight. If I had known that, I would have rescinded my acceptance.
You knew.
By the way, when I texted Chi-Town, he was like, "Can we get Dark Mark on?" So I'm showing that you're nice to Mark for a change.
What?
So,
Yeah, because we had this standing rule when we were done with Dark. We're like, no more Dark Mark. Oh wait, Dark Mark.
Here.
Oops, I forgot about it.
Yeah. So these two ASM reviewers are on this episode to fight it out.
Wait a minute. Excuse me, Brad. I am the ASM reviewer. Chi-Town's the ASM LR Yeah, reviewer.
Until the
That's-
LR
that's
goes
just-
away, then I'm right back
Well,
on the bike. You know,
Newsflash! Newsflash!
right
Shaitan has
along
the
right
better
side
comment.
it, buddy.
All
Probably
right,
right
all right,
past me.
boys. Oh my God. All right. So we've got ASM 854 reviewing. This is Mark, I'm assuming, since it's not an LR issue, right?
That's right. That's
Those
me.
are Shacktown. All right,
All
take me
right.
through this, Mark.
It was a dark and stormy night. The rain
Oh,
fell in
geez.
torrents, except at occasional intervals when it was checked by a violent gust of wind which swept the street. For it is New York that our scene lies. Rays rattling along the housetops and fiercely agitating the scantily flames of the lamps that struggled against the darkness. So we find ourselves here.
Just wow. He
A little
doesn't
bit
even
from,
say who wrote the issue or who
Well,
drew
I
the
want
the
to be in
fact that
bed. I want to be in bed before 3 a.m. Dark Mark.
Well,
Don't
so
worry.
far,
After-
so far,
George, after he reviews this, you'll be asleep. Don't
We
worry.
got Spencer.
Oh yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, it was a dark and stormy night.
so far, Mark has spent more time writing this issue than Spencer did. That's for sure.
All right, we find ourselves in a house that looks a lot like Scooby-Doo type house where they have that long hallway and you can run in one door and come out another one down somewhere the hallway and such. And we see Liz in bed. I'm assuming it's Liz. It's blonde hair. So
Mhm.
it's not Gwen because she's got flesh. And I doubt they're going to be bringing Deb back. So it only leaves Liz. So we have Liz there. And then as we go down the hallway a little bit further, we see a young normie sleeping fitfully while a needlessly costumed Kindred stands over him and lurks in the shadows there.
Yeah.
And you could tell right here. I'm glad you got this panel up here. The art is so spot on that even though Harry has a mask on, you can tell his facial expression as he's looking down at this kid, going, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that one." As he's already revealed that he periodically forgets about one of his sons from time to time.
Right.
He's
Well,
watching here like Kane.
Yes.
Oh, no. We've gone there.
Watching him
Okay.
sleep like Cain.
And it's a total callback to, I guess, the epilogue of the child within. Is that what the name of the story was? That J.M. David Mateus one.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's what it is.
Yep. It's very reminiscent of that scene.
Okay. Take me through it.
All right, so we have our little opening little blurb there where we get our writers and artists and all the other stuff that we just skip over real quick to get back to the story. And then we see
Spencer Bagley,
Peter,
there you go.
we see Peter wake up. Now, I'm assuming it's Peter, but last issue, Peter's dead, so he shouldn't be waking up. But and it doesn't look like Peter, but it doesn't make any sense for it to be anybody but Peter. So we're going to assume that it was Peter Parker. And he wakes up and he comes down the stairs where someone says, "Good afternoon, Tiger." And at this point, I just imagine Chi-Town reading this, getting all excited.
very good.
You know, he's all, "Oh, my God." And then we find out it's Aunt May, in which case Chi-Town then felt a little bit like Oedipus and had to go.
Interesting
Pretty
enough,
much,
Brad
pretty
called
much.
that. By the way,
I did call that. I did.
So we find out he's late for the party. He's about 309 issues late because this is a party that took place in ASM 545, but he's late nonetheless. And he goes running down the streets, and he's greeted by a doorman that looks like he must be from the Terminator movie because he's got that red eye glowing there. And he says, "The surprise is the best part." And we keep hearing that the surprise is the best part, letting you know that what you think's going to happen in this is not going to happen in this.
Okay.
You think this is going to be Harry Osborn here, but we know it can't be because they keep saying too much. The surprise is the best part.
Wow, Mark, you're really nailing it, man.
Yes. Once he gets here, he goes into the party and he sees a blonde-haired guy that Peter believes to be Flash Thompson. And this guy realizes that Peter must be distressed, so he goes along and plays along with the gag. But we know this is not Flash Thompson. It doesn't look a thing like Flash Thompson. Plus, Flash Thompson is dead. Actually, I don't believe Flash Thompson is dead. I believe he is in his grave, constantly being revived by that symbiote he's got, and then suffocating again inside that airless tomb.
Wow.
I think that actually is a thing.
Okay,
Named Dark Mark.
Dark Mark, baby.
I put some thought into that there.
You got to live up to the brand. Damn.
And we see in the party there MJ lurking in the background. And then we get our one and only onomatopoeia in the issue.
And
Ding.
that is-
The what?
We get
Ding.
the one and only onomatopoeia. Ding. As the elevator opens and everybody else surprised because we know the surprise is the best part. And out walks Harry Osborn and Lily and Carly. And I'm sitting there thinking, holy crap, I don't want Carly back in here. I don't want Mike to be right.
Nobody does.
Now, while this is
Never
all
know.
happening, Kindred is still standing in the room of little Normie and just constantly just letting his centipedes hang all over top of this little kid here, which makes no sense whatsoever. And then he walks and all of a sudden he's in his Hall of Mirrors. So either the Hall of Mirrors is in Liz Allen's apartment, or the Hall of Mirrors is some way that he can use to jump between rooms, or Kindred has some teleportation power. It does not clear. It doesn't really matter. He was there. Now he's here. And
He's
we're
the Candyman. That's the only information I got.
He's clear. Wait, he's a Scientologist now?
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. That sounds like a Doctor Who book.
He's like Visa is everywhere you want to be.
there. You go. Never leave home without it. It's wrong with the wrong one, isn't it? Anyway, there in this room is a sarcophagus, and laying upon it is the dead corpse. Well, of course, be a dead corpse. Just it is redundant. The corpse of Peter Parker. But back at the party, Peter Parker is very much alive, talking to people who don't look at all like who they're supposed to be, and he keeps unfolding, watching these events unfold. And he's like, I know what's going on here, and of course he knows because it already happened in ASM 545. So he decides to blow off Harry and blow off Lily and Carly and Flash, and this time he's going after Mary Jane. He is not going to make the same mistake twice. But she's much faster than he is and makes it to the elevator, and Harry steps in his way and makes Dream Peter say the lines.
Uh-oh.
Speak of the devil. And the devil appears.
Mephisto.
Yeah. And then he wakes up, which shouldn't happen because he's dead. But he wakes up and he vomits. And Kindred lets us know that coming back to life is not nearly as easy as Jesus made it seem 2,000 years ago. And then they start to build it up more to this reveal. He keeps taunting Peter. And then he says, you always knew it was me. And Kindred reaches up. And those are not bandages. It's just a mask. He rips it off to reveal Norman Osborn! Oh my gosh! You couldn't believe it was.
No.
Well, it sure looks like Norman Osborn.
It does look like Norman.
Norman wouldn't say gotcha. Gary would say gotcha.
Yeah, I know. And so there you go. To be continued.
All right. So if you liked what you just heard, you could read what you just heard. On the front page of the crawl space, you can look at Mark's review. It's right here. He posted it. And you could check that out. He also has that image that we were talking about, that gotcha right there. That does look like JR. Does that look like Norman or Harry?
If he didn't say gotcha, and if you hadn't seen if you haven't been following the story, you'd think, is that Norman? Is that Norman? Because
So I already know your grade. It's C+, right?
There you go.
C+. You can see it on the crawl space too. So let's go around the horn. Mike, what's your grade, sir?
Well, as someone on the podcast once upon a time said, I do not give grades to incomplete books.
So an I? I don't think we've ever had an I.
Well, no, it's an incomplete.
Okay.
You'll find out why later.
I think we're using your webcam mic again.
Yeah, you're using your webcam mic.
I know. I told him unplug the other one because it's chirping. So anyway, George.
Okay.
So we have a C+, an I. George, what's your grade?
I gave it a B.
B. JR?
D+.
Oof. Oof. Chi-Town.
B-.
B minus. Mark C plus. I'm going to give it a B. I'm with George. I liked it, but it sure was quick to read, though. Sure was quick.
It was very quick to read. There were 56 votes on the crawl space, and they were all over the place. Normally, everybody's pretty much centered, but I mean, we've got all the grades represented this time.
Wow. F got 3 votes. Who's got the lead? Is it?
I think it's B minus. Yeah.
B minus. Yeah, it's right around where George and I said, and Mark. So, all right. So, pros, Mark, what did you like, sir?
Oh, I love the connection with issue 545. I mean, even though that I don't really like that issue, I like those connections there. It makes me go back and reread it. And when I went back and reread 545, I enjoyed it more not because I was just reading it for what the story was, not for the impact it was going to have on my character there. It was still, it's a stupid story, but it would have been a great what if type idea the way it was written.
Other pros, what did you guys like? I like the gotcha. I thought that was
the Bagley art is also really good as always. That's probably the well.
You just triggered Mark. Mike, you just triggered Mike.
Hey, I grew up with Mark Bagley art, so I have a soft spot for it. So I appreciate the fact that even though Harry did look like Norman there at the end. I think
it was Neil that said the colorist isn't helping Bagley.
No, I think the colorist. Yeah, this was a different colorist of the thing. Otherwise, but I do kind of agree with Mark in the fact that I do appreciate that Spencer is actually touching this third rail of One More Day a bit here and trying to kind of address it here and just deliberately calling back to it. But yeah, so those are my pros on it.
Mark, did you like Bagley in the 90s and Ultimate Spider-Man? Did you like him? Or is he just not your thing?
I like Bagley okay, but his return here is inconsistent. The faces are crap. Does not feel to me that he's given his best shot here. It feels to me like when Gary Conway came back to writing, and he was writing those really awful stories in the late 80s. That was like, what in the world,
He's because he was on the
I can't figure out who's who without the story telling me, and I should be able to look at an art, especially an artist of his caliber. I should be able to look and see exactly that's Peter, that's Flash, that's Mary Jane, that's whatever. It shouldn't be like
Adam
it is.
Compliments you that you went back and read 545 because he couldn't do it.
I'm a sucker for punishment. Yeah,
I like that Bagley tried to copy Quesada's art that was actually printed instead of just reprinting Quesada's art. Which I don't know.
I would have rather he just reprinted it.
Then the book would have been really fast to read because we've already read it. What's some other pros out of the issue?
I'm with McNulty in that I like that he's willing to go back and re-examine, retell One More Day. I like that. We've got those same thrice damn scenes as we had from 545 here, except that they're more palatable and that Peter's suddenly acting like Peter should. And what is he focused on the entire time? Like he sees somebody, but then he sees Mary Jane and then all he can think about is getting to Mary Jane. And then, even when, Harry shows up and he goes, "Oh no, let me introduce you to these crap characters that no one cares about." He's like, he can't even be bothered, with Lily and Carly. He just wants to get to Mary Jane. So in that regard, I like that. I like the subtle nod on this. Like maybe we're finally going to get this undone finally after 12 years. It's drug on for way too long. And if Spencer gives me that, then. Yeah, I'm good.
Mark, your son wrote in. Grant said, my first Spider-Man comics were Ultimate with Bagley, so I have a soft spot for the art, but the art in this issue was awful. So he agrees with you, Mark. You
let your kid read Ultimate? Come on, man. I'm so, oh my God. Wow. I have to call CPS.
Down. What's some pros, man? What'd you like?
Well, basically what George said, but you see that redhead, you want to go right for it. Peter's he's having some deja vu moments in this one, and he knows what he needs to do to get there. So I like that, and I like how Harry is like playing the scene differently. What I didn't like, let's get segue into cons, is it did make me read 540.
540?
Yeah.
540.
540.
again.
Rebecca read 540?
Right. 545 again, George.
Nice little slide. Nice little
I didn't like it one bit.
Mike, some pros. Did we ever hit your pros up? Or?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Okay. JR didn't like it very much, but what did you like? Is there one or two things?
In a way, I what I liked is also what I didn't like. Sometimes I like it when a comic book has a certain theatrical quality. I do agree, though, that some of Bagley's renderings of Peter seem to be off. I'm not, not sure, but it's all, so like even though Harry looks a little like Norman, I do like the full page gotcha, and I like the creepy dark overtones whenever we see Kindred walking around. Because that's the only story we got, because we didn't get a whole lot of dialogue. I mean, really, I guess the best I can do is give the best pro I can give is the art, even though it wasn't perfect.
Mark, what was the cons of this issue? You gave it a C+.
Well, this would have been a fantastic reveal, and I have it. I guess somewhere in my mind, I'm thinking that Spencer at some point had set this for the reveal, but maybe he started, or maybe editorial started thinking this was waiting a bit too long. So, they went ahead and pretty much gave it away with Norman saying it's my son, it's Harry, and so there was still some doubt. And so when he takes his mask off here, there's no more doubt left in there. Yeah. But it just felt like it had this was been such a great reveal, but it was so watered down by the time we got to it. I mean, and this issue especially was really building up the fact that this was not what we thought it was going to be. And then, so I was all ready for him to take that, his bandages off and have it be somebody just completely out of the blue for me. That, and then turn out, there it is. There's Harry, which I'm fine with, because I thought it was Harry. I first started thinking it was Harry when Strom had said, or he told Strom, I know what it's like to live in somebody else's shadow. And I just thought, okay, all right. And I started piecing together there. But
do you think they spaced it out to pad the series to get more issues out, so you buy them? Do you think Spencer ideally would have liked to reveal this 10 issues ago?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if Spencer is playing the Bendis, the stretch it out game, or if he's being forced to do so, or what. And if, as long as the story's good, that's fine. But this was definitely aimed to be a punch ending, and it was just telegraphed a bit too much for it to have that punch. I'm still happy with the way the story's going, but for this particular issue, there, like JR said, there's not much in the issue.
There's not.
So
For
it's
$4,
all for
there's
the
not.
ending. Yeah, it's all for that last page.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I
there's
agree
part
with
of me
Mark.
that there's part of me that sees the end, and says, "Oh, hey, look, I was right. I was one of the ones that's been saying it for over a year. That's what this is." But on the other hand, it's like David S. Pumpkins. And it's like, if you've ever seen the David S. Pumpkins sketch,
Tom Hanks,
Saturday Night Live, yeah. And he's like, "Any questions?" And then the other dude in the elevator is like, "Yes, several."
True.
And so I'm seeing Harry, and I'm like, okay, which Harry are you? Are you the Harry that was dead? Or are you Harry Lyman, the new Harry? Who are you? Which Harry are you? Are there two Harrys? What's going on? I don't understand. And
Right.
And I'm glad we'll finally get a resolution on it. I just hope it doesn't take 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, the
Marvel
only thing-
editorial, I don't want it to take 2 years. Go ahead.
The only thing I can think of is that I think it's supposed to be like maybe indicating, no, this is not there's not two different Harrys. This is the same Harry. Somehow he remembered Peter was Spider-Man. We don't really know. But again, you're still telling he's still, I don't think there's two. I don't anymore. I mean,
You think it's the same one, huh?
I think it's gotta be.
When was the last time we saw Harry Lyman, like new Harry? First of all,
it was Dan Slott.
it was Dan Slott. Okay, but back then he was perfectly normal. He wasn't like getting in bed with like dark magic or anything. You know,
Well, that's
he was
why
like a normal guy.
That's why I think this has got to be somehow connected to some kind of tablet of time thing and somehow I don't know. It's just got to be some. I think they're supposed to be making connection somehow.
I mean, these aren't movie props.
Something.
He's not like he's not like these aren't foam centipedes.
Right.
You know,
Oh
like,
yeah, but beside the point is that I agree with Mark in the sense that this should have been the reveal. We shouldn't have had this reveal back in 50 because that kind of spoiled this. And I think this would have had much more of an impact if we had just been delayed a little bit more longer, even though we were kind of frustrated, like who is Kindred? This would have been perfect. And I think instead, retroactively, I think 50 kind of ruins this a little bit. But that's not my main con. The main con I have for it, I will get to when we go to the next ASM issue.
JR has a lot of cons. What's your big cons, JR?
Well, my big con is as I go through the issue and I see like 5 pages that are one panel, basically.
Yes.
And then even on some of the other pages, the panels are bigger than normal. I mean, it's so deliberate. I feel offended. I mean, I really do. I just really feel had.
Because you spent $4 and you don't get much reading material.
Well, yeah, and it's been something we've been waiting for a long time. This confrontation has been coming up for a long time, and like everybody has said, I mean, it was telegraphed over and over and over and over. This issue, I mean, it's like, come on, hurry up. I mean, the last page panel is great. It harkens back to the gotcha from the Pursuit, the end of Pursuit. No, I mean, honestly, I mean, come on, when you got 5 pages that are just one panel, you've been had. You've absolutely been had. So
it's totally spaced out for the trade. And
I don't even know if it's spaced out for the trade. I mean, really? they have enough to put in a trade. I mean, if this is going to be I don't know what the objective is here.
I don't either.
Spaced out for the omnibus.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, Scott, a former Spider plumber. I remember you on the message board, Scott. What's going on, man?
Hey.
Chi-Town, let's hear some of your cons. Have we heard some?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I didn't like the fact that it made me read one more 545 again.
545.
And that's basically it. But we haven't gotten to a conclusion. Like which Harry is it? Is it Lyman? Is it Osborne? Is it a red herring?
Yeah, it and really when I read it, I did think it was Norman. My first impression before reading the gotcha, I was like, that's Norman? Mm-hmm. And then I read the gotcha, I'm like, oh, but that's only from being a longtime Spider-Man fan that I remember Harry said gotcha. The average Joe probably might have thought that was Norman Osborn. I don't know. But anyway, we've got George with this next issue. Are we done with that one, you guys think?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go to the LR. We thought it was spacing out even more. 53 point LR. Take me through this, George.
You gave George the
Miles. I know. I did. I just wanted some entertainment. Is what I wanted.
So Brad gives me the LR, and right off the bat, I'm not reading all the LR stuff. I'll read the main book. I'm not going to read 53.1, 53.001.
But he read it
on all kinds of different, side stuff, especially with Slott. Wasn't the one that Clash was in? Wasn't that a .00 something?
Yeah, it was 0.1.
Yeah, it was a .00 fisted. That's what that was. So I don't buy this side crap because my experience, and this is how I comport myself in my daily affairs. I go by experience. My experience has told me that all of the off, point issues or whatever side stuff has all been crap.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who's writing it. It doesn't matter what title it is. It's because it's extraneous and it's just being thrown in to try to get you to buy more comics. In which case, this one I did because this was assigned to me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Brad.
I'd read the other ASM issues, but I hadn't read this one. So I went and got this.
Yeah.
And then so I could review it. I have not read the one before, will not read the ones after. So basically,
Wait a minute, you haven't read the previous issue we just reviewed? No, you did. You just gave it a review. Okay. You're talking about you're not reading the LRs after this.
I have not read the previous LRs. I will not read the subsequent LRs.
Okay, got it.
This is the only LR I have read, and it's because I love you, Brad Douglas. Even though you apparently hate me by giving me this. It starts off with Moreland.
I know. I know. I knew you'd hate it. I knew you'd hate it.
It starts off with Moreland, who's naked for some reason.
Oh, he's got pants. Look at those pants.
He used to wear like frilly little suits and look like Liberace at a bar mitzvah or something. Or not at a bar mitzvah. That didn't make any sense. Like Liberace at a fancy. What a bar mitzvah? What pulling that out of my ass. Wow. Yeah. So this is whatever. Anyway. Yeah. So like Liberace. You look like Liberace on stage in Vegas. There we go. That's
there you go. That's
all right. Or he looks like he's dressed like an extra on the set of Dark Shadows. All right.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
So that's how I used to dress. Here he's just naked, out running around, hunting spider people. He hunts spider people things. He kills spider people things. He eats spider people things because this is such a complex and multi-layered character. He gets ambushed by the Sin Eater, who reveals that, I set up this whole thing with these spider people things that you just eaten. Ha ha. So he ambushes him. Moreland kind of turns the table on the Sin Eater, winds up beating the hell out of him, but then Sin Eater gets him into a point. Sin Eater's starting to think like Stan now. And he's like, oh, geez, am I even really a thing? Should I even be doing this? Am I even, am I big league now? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a guy. But he's positioned him to where he can like remotely activate a gun that shoots Moreland in the back. And then is Moreland dead, or is he alive, or is he neutered like
George don't care.
Is he neutered like what's that guy? Like who are the other villains that like showed up and Sin Eater shot him? Like Count Nefaria, wasn't he one of them?
Oh yeah.
Whirlwind.
And suddenly he's like, oh hey,
Norman,
here's some flowers I bought you. So I don't know if Moreland's dead. I doubt I'm that lucky. I doubt any of us are that lucky. Or if he's alive, or if he's been neutered.
And you like generally JMS, except for Moreland. They hate that story.
I hated the totem in the Moreland thing. That was such garbage. Still is.
Yeah.
All right. So then we cut to Doctor Strange and the Order of the Web, which I can't say without laughing. Out in the astral plane, trying to find clues as to where Spider-Man went. And what's going on with him. And they get jumped by corrupted versions of some forearm guy that we're supposed to know, who I didn't. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know who this forearm guy is. And then Kingpin and Aunt May. They wind up fighting them, beating them a little, beating them away. Pardon me. And then MJ appears and everybody's like, oh, hey, look, it's the girlfriend. And then Doctor Strange is there and he kind of sees to her BS and he's like, no, reveal yourself. And it turns out she's this big 50-foot demon with horns. And Doctor Strange immediately starts beating ass on her. And then all the other, he's like, y'all need to go ahead and find Peter and leave now. And they're like, no, we have to stay and help you. And he's like, no, really, you so don't. and he's like beating back the MJ demon, and the whole time Doctor Strange is pointing out to them how bush league they all are compared to him.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yes, this checks. This tracks with what I know. Yes.
Yeah. It has Doctor Strange in it, and you're a big Doctor Strange fan,
Brad. Okay. All right. Pause. Brad, just because the cover on a book is really cool, or just because a book has a character in it that you like and that you're into, it does not mean the story is going to be quality.
I've learned that by being a Spider-Man fan.
We've got, have you? Because you still buy a lot of crap. And I don't listen to satellites, but I don't have to know that you still buy a lot of crap.
That's true. I have a lot of shit. Yep.
So, yeah, I feel like we've gone over this many, many times, But yeah, having Stegron in a comic or having Doctor Strange in a comic does not mean the comic is awesome or that the story is good.
But it does get you there initially with some interest, right?
I mean, that's literally the only pro I have here.
Okay.
In it. Actually, I have a very specific phrase for that when we get, but we'll get there in a second. So Doctor Strange tells the Order to go. They hop through some purple portal and wind up in a cemetery about to be ambushed by a Sin Eater. The end, grade D-.
Oof.
Ooh.
D-.
The only thing that saved this, I mean, you've got Moreland, you've got the Asinine Order of the Web. You've got characters like Cindy Moon and Aranya.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, what? Oh God, stop.
Vinkman goes, Brad, we've been through this. George, it isn't as easily entertained as you are. That's very true.
That's very true.
That's very true. We got a D-. Let's go around the horn. Mike, what's your grade on this?
It's actually a B-, but there's a reason why. There's a method.
Oh, good God. Okay. JR, D-, B-.
I gave it a D.
Chi-Town.
C+.
C+. Dark Mark. B+. I'm going to give it a C- also. Let's go through the pros, George.
My only pros were that Doctor Strange is in it and he doesn't need you bitches. I mean, literally, that's basically what Doctor Strange is telling all these other heroes. He's like, we have to help Doctor Strange against this 50-foot Mary Jane. And he's like, really? No.
Yeah.
This is the least. I got 99 problems and 50-foot demon Mary Jane isn't one.
And the spider, what's a group called? The spider what?
The Order of the Spider.
The Order of
I thought it was Order of the Web.
It's Order of the Spiders.
I'll take an Order of the Spiders, please. Mike, explain why you liked it so much more than anyone else.
Well, because number one, Doctor Strange proved that Julie Carpenter is the worst psychic in the world, basically told her off. So that's number one. Number two, we're actually getting a plot in this, more of a plot in this than we actually are in the main books. That's another pro there, because more happened in this story than the last two issues combined. And the other two ASM issues. The other thing is also the fact that we are getting, in fact, yeah, we got more answers in there. Third, it actually somewhat links the Sin Eater plot finally to the rest of the story, even though Morley went out like a punk. But that's so those are my main things. So story wise, I think this is actually, for a tie-in issue, this has actually had more going on in it than the main title does, which is saying something. But that's my main thing.
Spider-Man. That's
I know, but
what's the name of the damn book?
But I know
The Amazing Spider-Man.
It's the tie-in thing, but from a storytelling standpoint, there was more going on here than there was in the Amazing Spider-Man titles this month.
Anybody else? Mark, what's your pros?
I like the little trip through the astral plane and the demon Mary Jane and Doctor Strange. You know, really not having much to do with these Spider-Man knockoffs. It's just an enjoyable read. I enjoyed what was going on with it, and I'm not expecting Spider-Man to be in these because they made it clear on the first LR issue that we're looking at Black Cat and Doctor Strange and Miles and the other Spider people and Norman and Mary Jane, so that on the ASM they can focus on Peter Parker.
Yeah. JR, do you have any pros?
Not at all. Not at all.
Nothing.
No, wait a minute, except one pro.
Yeah.
That basically Doctor Strange essentially told the spider losers that they're useless.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been. And it's
Yep.
like, you almost wonder, it's like, oh, is there some self-awareness going on, or is it just unconscious self? I mean, he basically says you guys are useless.
Doctor Strange talks like I feel. He talks to people the way I wish I could talk to people most of the time.
Doctor Strange has the Eye of Agamotto.
I don't need the Eye of Agamotto to tell me that this whole thing is unnecessary.
George has the Eye of Whataburger, is what he. Anyway, I thought that would go over better. Okay, Chi-Town, who, if you want to read his review, it's right here, also in the crawl space. Right there. Mark, have you read this by chance?
Of course he did. He loves Brian. It's in the comments section. You know he did.
There you go. He gave it a C plus. There you go. Chi-Town, what's your pros?
Well, first of all, Doctor Strange saying I knew it, and I'm really, really interested in the good old doctor saying I have a feeling what's going on. I'm going to investigate this, and I'm basically going to have a little one-on-one with Peter to find out what the F is going on. And the Ghostbuster references in this comic book was very rewarding.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be even more rewarding if a character doesn't have to point them out that she just made them.
True. On the second panel. On the second panel.
By the way, I don't want to overlook Ryan, who's actually in the chat. He also does ASM reviews, only video style. So you can check those out also. You go to reviews, click on Amazing Spider-Man. You can see all 3 of the reviewers of Amazing Spider-Man on the crawl space right there. Okay. George, we kind of hit me up through your cons a little bit.
It starts off with a half-naked Morlun. What's the only way to make Morlun worse? Oh, I don't know. Take his shirt off. Order of the Web / Order of the Spider / whatever they're called. There's so many characters in here I don't give a damn about and never will. Yeah. But I keep getting them. I keep getting beaten over the head with them because editorial wants to sell more comics and stretch this out way longer than it needs to be.
That's the only reason this book exists, right?
It literally is the only reason this book exists, and this is not a knock against Spencer. I think even Spencer knows this is unnecessary. I think it's why he has Doctor Strange telling them that they suck. No, I'm dead serious. I think that's why.
I believe it.
The only reason this thing exists is so that people, A, we can try to get people to buy it, and B, to listen to the fake Gwen Stacy bitch. And whine and moan. That is literally it. It adds nothing. It adds F all to the overall story. And again, I don't blame Spencer. I blame Lowe or Sobolski or whoever decided that this needs to be drug out even further with this unnecessary padding that then Brad will make George buy an issue of.
So here's the question. If you were the editor and you needed you had bean counters after you to sell X amount of books, what would you do?
I don't know. Why can't they just go back to crap variants?
They already have the crap variants.
Well, then I don't know. I mean, there's only so much. I would tell the accountants, look, there's only so much blood we can squeeze from a stone. And guess what? It's going to keep decreasing every year.
It's true.
I'm sorry.
True.
So we don't need these crap comics that don't even really tell a full story and are supposed to be ancillary to a larger story that people actually do give an F about.
Do you think long-term this side LR issues, granted they sell well because completists like myself buy them.
Does this sell well?
I mean, does this affect long-term readership and the fact that people are they enjoy the storyline less because it's so padded out?
I mean, there's enough suckers that are still completists that they're going to buy every damn thing. Yeah. I fortunately broke, and if you're one of them, I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you a sucker, but you're why we keep getting these things.
I am.
So I fortunately broke myself of that abusive circle a long time ago. And more power to me. I'm living my best life.
Honestly, you could just go ahead and not even read these issues and still get the story, couldn't you?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. These are unnecessary. There is nothing going on in here that's going to impact what's going on in the non-LR issues of ASM.
Yeah.
And if it is, it's slight.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just an excuse to get all these other spider characters in here. And I'm like, well, if you're going to round them up, why couldn't Moreland just kill them? That might actually make me like Moreland. Seeing Moreland drain Cindy Moon. Oh, damn. That is shocking. You know, the chick you smell from across time and space? Give me a goddamn break. Oh.
They are cons. And do you agree with the point? Does this hurt the long-time fan with this extra titles?
Well, I tell you, this is one of the reasons. This type of stuff is one of the reasons I stopped buying for a while, and I only started buying again because Norman was becoming a prominent part of the story. And basically, once he's, of course, then again, I guess he's going to be in number 58 or whatever. And like I said, I'm disappointed he's going to be evil again. But this has got to. I don't know. I mean, this has got to hurt. I mean, But like George said, there's too many completists out there that are propping it up. As far as cons, I mean, one, the art is awful. I mean, go to the first. George is offended at seeing Moreland's chest, but let's go to the first page that Moreland shows up.
Period.
Yeah, well, yeah, but let's go to the first page. The first page.
I'm trying. Hold on.
Yeah,
I didn't. That page?
No. Just the one prior. The one prior.
That one?
Okay. Yeah. Now, look at that. I mean, is that even a foot there at the bottom? I mean, is that a foot? I can't tell. I can't tell.
What is it hanging off his feet? Skin?
I don't know.
I think the bush is in the front of him. I think the half his foot's supposed to be in the bush or something.
His foot's in the bush?
It's like,
his foot's not in the bush.
And so the art is, I mean, and one, I don't know what he looks like, a diseased Wolverine there. And then I'm not sure what he looks like in that bottom panel.
Down here.
Yeah, I just, so the art is awful. But there's no story. I mean, the spider fringe, they just walk around. That's it, and then Dr. Strange says, you guys suck. You're useless.
Does anyone know who the forearm guy was that we're supposed to know, that we're supposed to recognize?
Yeah, I believe in the chat, if you go up, username XW00 Wuha. He linked it in 53R. 4 Demons linked back to One More Day because it was Kingpin who ordered the hit and Aunt May, the assassin who shot her, Aunt May and MJ. So I think there are links to the change to One More Day.
All right, so the forearm assassin was supposed to be the guy that shot Aunt May.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Thank you very much, Whoopi man, whoever that was. What was the name again?
Wuha.
Wuha. I'm sorry.
Wuha.
Wuha. Thank you.
Grant Martin has a point about. I think they're fine. You can understand the ASM story without them, so you don't have to buy them. But they're a nice bonus for people who like the extra characters.
Yeah, but what are those extra characters doing?
There's no story. I mean,
they're just showing up with their heads.
What JR said, there's no story. The only, I mean, this is great if you like seeing Doctor Strange beat ass and tell people how worthless they are. I don't get me wrong. That's why this is not an F. Right? It's like the one redeeming moment of the book is Doctor Strange is talking the way I want to talk to people throughout the story.
Well, their biggest reason for being around is to show Peter the impact his life has on others, not just his friends, but this ripple effect all throughout. And so I think that's going to, they're going to be using that in the main book later. Look what you done. They've already done it because Peter gave his life up to save Miles once Gwen tossed him off the bridge. But so I think that's just, that's what they're there for. And then they're being used right now. We just got to get them to the final story where they're going to impact again. And we're going to have use them to kind of fill out the story of Black Cat and Doctor Strange and Norman and MJ, because those two stories can't fill a whole book by themselves, but they're too much to cram into the main ASM book. So I think that's just kind of how they're setting it up.
Yeah. Mary wants to know if we liked Sin Eater killing Moreland once and for all. I don't think he's dead, Mary. I mean, come on.
No, he's not dead. I mean, when the Sin Eater shoots you, he just takes your sins or something or other. I mean, he's not really killing anybody.
Yeah, we're not that lucky, Mary.
Yeah. Okay. Mike's talking. Hold on.
I just don't
Mike,
think first of all, not only do I think he's dead, I think Sin Eater, it kind of highlighted how Sin Eater is like literally kind of like, because Morley even calls him out as, you're kind of deluded that you actually think you can, think. But what's stupid about it is the fact that, if he did kill him with a shotgun like to the back, it's like, that was kind of lame. Yeah, that was. But
I'm sorry, but like half the issue is this fight between Moreland and Sin Eater. Who cares? I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you could have done it in 2 or 3 pages. I mean, why does it take half the book? A fight nobody wanted.
That brings
Exactly.
me to the con. Like it's the showdown we never really wanted.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, this whole story needs to be between Harry, Peter, and ultimately Mary Jane. That's it. No Doctor Strange, no
No
Order of the Web,
Be
no
back in a
Sin Eater. Just Harry, Peter, and at the end, it looks like we're about to get to Mary Jane. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. But I guess you can't sell, or you can't make 57 comics with that you've got to sell.
Yeah, but they're putting it in the LR issues, so you don't have to buy those things. You can read just the regular one.
Point of procedure, sir. Yeah, you do when Brad Douglas assigns it to you.
And I apologize for assigning it to you, but I did want to hear you complain about the LR issues. I knew it had spider people in it. I knew it had Moreland in it, and I know you hate those. And I like how you explain your hatred of them.
Yeah, you knew that it would ring erudite commentary out of me.
Well, George Brad does the same to me with those stupid ass spider newses that really aren't news.
Yeah.
So it's you're not the only one. He does it does this thing too.
I understand the method to his madness now. It's how he gets the best out of us.
Chi-Town or Mark, any other cons before we move on?
Oh yeah, why? Even I think Spencer, like George said, Spencer is using these characters to influence what the reader is reading. Like I think Spider or Ghost Spider says, "Why is this happening?" And then Julia says, "Oh, we'll discuss that at a later time." Like, why do we need to discuss it at a later time? We're walking and we're talking.
Why even bring it up?
Yeah, tell me what's going on right now. We're walking and talking. Why we're fighting this 6-foot demon MJ? Tell me what's going on.
I think Madam Web has something more to go on this. And maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but didn't they first showed up at the outside of the Ravencroft Institute? Didn't they all have visions of Norman killing Peter, except for her? Even though she said she did, she knew what she was walking into here. And so I'm thinking there's something else. She's going to have a bigger role here later. And so they're just kind of dangling it out there. I don't want her to have a bigger role, but,
I like what Hornacek says. In a story about Peter confronting his deal with Mephisto, what I really wonder is, what does Aranya think about this? Adam goes, pretty sure it was Matthew Rosenberg who wrote these. Spencer may have plotted them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, let's move on to our last issue of the night. Chi-Town, you've got this one. Beautiful looking Gleason cover.
Mm-hmm.
Just love that. That's so spicy.
Art, the whole issue.
Beautiful.
All right. So Brad says the best to last. And Alfred, you can take some real notes here. Show you how it's done. Amazing Spider-Man 54, written by Nick Spencer with art by Mark Bagley. See, Mark, that's what we need to address in these issues. You got to tell them who wrote it and who drew it.
Well, if I felt who drew it was important, I would have mentioned it in my last.
Okay, story opens up with Kindred reassuring the reader for the third time that he is in fact Harry Osborn, just in case you didn't see the giant revealing splash pages at the end of ASM 50 and 53. But like some people, like our pal Mike, who still thinks Kindred is a woman, Peter can't believe it either. Peter tells Harry that he'll always lose these fights, eats a can of spinach and goes all Popeye on Kindred. Crazy, angry eyes Peter thinks he's won, but Harry shows Peter just how much he's changed. Getting the upper hand on Peter, Kindred explains, I'm going to show you what hell feels like. Grabbing a rock, he beats Peter to death.
In the face.
Kindred then uses his demon powers to revive Peter. Heal. Then slashes his throat. Peter's dead. Heal. Then breaks his back. Peter's dead. Heal. Then impales him. Peter's dead. Heal. Then drowns him. Peter's dead. Heal. Makes him read an ASM slot comics from the last decade. Peter commits suicide. Peter's dead. Heal. Then he sets him on fire. Peter's dead. Heal. Laying on the floor, weak and tired. Peter thinks to himself, now I know what Ben 27 felt like. Peter crawls to the Kindred's Hall of Mirrors. Each reflection shows a specific thing. The mirror of Peter David Villains, Peter sees Sin Eater. The mirror of bad haircuts, Peter sees Norman Osborn and JR. The mirror of the past, Peter sees a fight with the Juggernaut and the Sin Eater. The mirror of published letters, Peter doesn't see Dark Mark anywhere. The mirror of subplots, Peter sees the Order of the Web. And that's, my friends, that's when Peter explains that they are here because of Peter's sins and what he did to draw him to this place. Peter sees that Stan is behind the gravestone, ready to kill him. If only these spider losers had a sixth sense to warn them of upcoming danger. Kindred wants Peter to confess his sins. Peter cries out and confesses, okay, I confess. I use Napster to download songs and movies every day. MySpace is still my jam for social media. I still think of Ben Reilly when I pour Kool-Aid powder in a pitcher before adding water. Kindred explains to Peter that he must confess his biggest sin. But Peter has no idea what he's talking about, and Kindred thinks, if Peter can't remember, maybe I should tell him. Nah, he'll figure it out. He tells Peter to think quickly, though. The Order may be able to handle themselves, but some may not. And he points to another mirror and exclaims, confess. Peter's eyes wide. They get in shock. He's very concerned as he looks into the mirror of Chi-Town's main focus and sees the reflection of Mary Jane walking in the graveyard in search for Peter. Scene. Grade C+.
C+. All right. If you'd like to hear a different review, Mark reviewed it over on the cross page. It's right there.
It's not as dramatic as the one you just
You
heard.
always lose, Chi-Town. No, I'm just kidding. That's looking a little bit more like Harry. I don't know.
That's looking a bit more like Harry.
Yeah, there's the rock.
And he even said it so that we could make sure. Go back up there.
Yeah.
Looks like Jason Statham with cornrows.
Yeah, he lets us know, your old pal Harry Osborn, because Spencer realized that nobody knew what happened last issue.
Oh, what's your onomatopoeia?
Chwunk.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's where he got beat up. There's some images.
Scroll back up, Brad. Scroll back up.
Yeah. Which one?
Scroll. Keep going. Stop. This too far. God damn. This reminds me of Death in the Family.
Oh, with the Joker beating Robin?
When the Joker's beating the hell out of Jason Todd, yeah.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the Batman episode of Almost Got Him, where Croc says, I threw a rock at him.
Yeah.
It was a big rock.
Big rock. Okay, so I'm assuming you're keeping your grade, Mark, with a B+, right?
B+.
Okay, and Chi-Town, what was your grade?
I gave it a C+.
JR?
A D.
Oof. George?
I gave it a B-.
Mike, what's your grade?
D+.
D+.
Mm-hmm.
B- out of me. Explain your logic with your prose, Chi-Town.
Well, Mark will, say his 2 cents that really no one gives a care about. I like the art.
Wow.
I like the art very much.
You are such a prissy bitch tonight. Damn.
I heard Mark was coming on,
You're like one of the girls on Saved by the Bell when she doesn't get a date with Slater or Zach. She has to go to the big dance with Shlomo. What's Dustin Diamond's character?
Screech.
Chaz.
Look at that.
Yeah. You have to go to the big dance with Screech.
Dude, your fist looks like,
I was doing like a point thing, but because my cam sucks, computer, it looks
it's
worse.
like astral plane. It looks like a Doctor Strange, dude.
I'm a ghost. Anyway, continue, please, Professor Salt.
Hell, we had Screech, odd-looking hand gestures. Go ahead. Keep going.
Well, the art was good. The hand gesture was even better. And but the reason that was basically it for me. We're getting closer, maybe a little bit to One More Day and the rectification, but Yeah, just really the art. I don't know, George, does this qualify for Fight Night? I mean, it was pretty brutal.
This is pretty brutal, but it's also over pretty quick.
It's over quick, and Spidey doesn't put up much of a fight. It's more of a beating of Spidey.
Yeah, it's kind of it's basically just kind of a. Spidey does kind of in the beginning.
In the beginning.
And then past that, it just turns into several pages of a one-sided ass whooping.
Well, and here's one of the reasons why I considered my pro thing, even though I did give it a low grade. One was because of the cliffhanger with Mary Jane, and the second is because Harry Osborn has pretty much told Peter, essentially in his big long speech, that for a guy who is supposed to be all about power and responsibility, all he really is just basically just a man-child a self-important man-child, I should say, that essentially still does not realize that his consequences have actions, which has been the characterization of him ever since the start of Brand New Day, and it only got worse during the Slott era. And this is basically Spencer saying, hey, don't blame me. This was like what I got here. This is what Spider-Man has been like for all this time, and I had to say it in order to fix him. And that's because that's essentially what I see how Harry's speech is. He's basically saying to Peter, you're not the guy. The reason why this is all basically, even though you don't remember this is all your fault because you have basically been mischaracterized for 10 years basically. And
Kindred is the readers, the long-term Spider fans.
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
That's funny. Pros out of JR. You're just not liking this story, man.
Not at all. I wanted to. I really want to, but I can't because it's just not going anywhere. It just so deliberately. I mean, it's not even subtle about how badly it's been being padded. Not even remotely subtle.
Yeah.
So I don't have any
consequences.
Yeah. George, pros.
I mean,
a B- like I did.
I mean, it did have a good fight.
Yeah,
but I'm kind of in the same boat as JR. Now, I like it a little bit more.
Yeah,
because I like where it's going, or at least where I believe ultimately it's going.
Same.
So that's probably tying into my overall review of the book, because if we continue to reach a point where we're going to rectify one more day, hey, hallelujah.
Yeah,
I will go and dance in the street. I will go down here in the parking lot and howl at the moon. Like a madman. All right, I will. But JR is 100% correct. This is going on for way too long.
Yep,
it really is. And again, I don't blame Spencer for that. Every bit of this drag-on feels editorial driven.
Yeah,
every bit of it feels like editorial is making it take way longer than it needs to.
Mm-hmm. And this is why go ahead.
And I think I think part of it is probably because they're trying to lead up to the upcoming anniversary issue of or one of the big milestone issues. What is it we have coming up? What is it?
We just had 850.
We had 850 already.
And we had issue 50.
No, what was the big? Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of the wedding cover, but that's not a big milestone thing, not the wedding cover. The one that looks like it's got them on the heart, but it's
issue number.
Oh, that's issue 6 or 60 or whatever.
I don't know why I thought that was some kind of tent pole, like that was some kind of big milestone. Okay, maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe they just want to drag this out for another 100 issues until the next, or another 50 issues until 900. I don't know. I hope not. God, I hope not.
Well, and that leads to the reason why I gave the last Amazing Spider-Man an incomplete, because, and this is, I know it's getting a little bit into content territory. You could have taken this issue and the previous ASM issue, smushed them together, and got one comic out of it.
Yeah.
And so we couldn't have had 2 pages of Harry just hanging over Normie's bed with his costume on when we know he doesn't have to have it. So he's just going to stand there in his little boy's room with this scary costume, for no reason at all. I mean, we could have had 2 pages of that if you're squishing these things together, Mike.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, as a Spider-Man fan, I'm looking at Harry, and I'm like, dude, are you going to monologue forever? Or are you going to actually, or is just going somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk him to death, for crying out loud. I mean, God. That's where we're headed.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, go ahead, JR.
no, I was about to say, because this worries me, because issue number 55, after we have 54 lure, I mean, issue number 55 is supposed to be the end, right? It's supposed to be the last part. And it's like, I'm thinking, well, one, I mean, is it going to be like quadruple sized or whatever? Because
they actually is supposed to be, I think from what I understand, it's actually supposed to be an increased page count.
Okay, it's funny because typically
which one is supposed to be the one that comes
The
out?
last part of the story, so I think it's supposed to be have extra pages in it.
54
It's the one with
LR?
No,
the
number 55, Brad.
55.
That beautiful cover. Okay, that one's supposed to
I
be
think it's supposed to have more pages in it, if I'm not mistaken.
28 pages.
$3.99 though.
Okay,
Oh,
wait a
never
minute. Now.
mind.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Now
never mind.
it says scroll up, Brad. Scroll up. It says last remains concludes. It doesn't say it's the end of the Kindred thing.
You thought the build up to
Oh.
Kindred was intense. The fallout from Kindred is even more devastating.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that.
I thought it had more
that
pages
just
in it.
tells me this is going to keep dragging on for
So
a while.
how many are pages in a normal comic? How many pages are in this one? Let's see.
Usually there's like 22.
Oh, there's 23. So there are more pages in that last one. Okay.
Well, the thing is, what was supposed to have typically in a story, I was thinking, typically your 3-act tale or whatever. Act 1, Peter finds out Kindred is Harry. Act 2, Peter's supposed to find out how Kindred is Harry. We haven't gotten that, and then part 3 the third act is the final battle.
Well, look
but
at
we
this.
we don't even remotely get this.
We don't have the cover for 58. That must be some kind of reveal here. That's got to be some. And then you got the heart over here that George was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what what is happening here. And we won't find out until what
The lead into that riveting Mr. Negative tale.
January 27th. We won't find out what this is all about until January. And then we follow it up with Mr. Negative. Why Mr. Negative? He's back.
Because no one demanded it.
Spider-Man is
Martin
still
Lee is
reeling
back.
from the Kindred affair, and Peter will not stand for anything else to be taken away from him.
I think this is interesting though because he's gotten his powers taken away by Sin Eater. So if he's got his powers back according to that cover, then that lets us know that Norman will be getting his stuff back. So his change is temporary.
And this description is Peter and Mary Jane.
Thankfully, Overdrive will get his back.
So much. Peter has been a constant strain on them from day one. But the events of the past few months, is there anything left? What does that mean?
We won't know.
We won't know until we read the issue.
Hornet
I
check
think I
out.
know what it means.
Go ahead.
I think I know what it means. We're not going to undo one more day, but I think they're going to be. I think one of the big things that's going to happen next issue is Peter's going to become aware of what he's done. It's going to all come flooding back into him. It's going to all come flooding back into Mary Jane, and now they're going to have to deal with the fact that they threw away what they had. And so we're going to have them a little bit of angst for a little while, but then they're going to have to reset back up and do the whole dating thing again and rebuild their relationship from scratch.
Yep.
I think.
Yep. That's 100% it.
Both Peter and Mary Jane will feel that way. And I'm thinking, Brad, if you go back to the Comicology, issue number 58, there's no cover for that.
No, I just had
There
it.
could be a spoiler for something that's
I
going
did,
on.
you know, as much as I've liked Spencer's run, and as long as this has gone on, if this doesn't eventually lead back to them, and I don't think it will, because we've talked about this before, we don't think Marvel is ever going to let them get married again. But if it doesn't, it's still such a rip. In that case, One More Day still did what it set out to do, and doing all of this kind of bandages the wound a lot, but at the same time, if it remains intact, if it continues to stick, and if Mephisto doesn't get what's coming to him, still ultimately, then really, what's changed?
Animate says there is a cover for ASM 58.
A variant cover. A variant cover.
Oh, a variant cover. We don't know what the normal cover is.
Yeah, it's probably like Ghost Rider or something. You don't have these stuff.
Hornetsec asks, what does the panel think about Kindred's bandages being a mask he can remove instead of it being actual bandages wrapped around his face?
It's
Absolutely
confusing.
stupid.
It's kind of.
It's confusing.
It's like Hush.
It's like you've got these creepy, these giant centipede demon things. Oh, but you're wearing a mask. That doesn't make any sense. That should be, if he's this jacked up, that ought to be his face.
Well,
Yeah.
see, okay, this is one of the reasons why I love this character, is because he's got all this power, right? I mean, he can bring people back from the dead. He can give people other power. He can kill Peter Parker over and over and over again when he wants to. All right, and
Right.
he was taking on a full-fledged Mad Peter. I mean, he was like, you're always going to lose, Harry. And he comes right at him with everything he's got and takes him back a little bit. But when it really comes down to it, Harry is still the pathetic little loser that he's always been. And is all of his big talk, like he goes up to Norman, and Norman is in the insane asylum, all strapped up, and he's talking real big about how he's going to do this. You don't understand. And Norman just says a few words and shakes him back down again.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's still the pathetic little loser wannabe that he's always been. So he's kind of like a mirror to Peter on that. Peter gets all this power. He's still the social nerd. Harry gets all this power. He's still the loser.
Yep.
And I kind of like that.
What do you guys think of that one panel where Harry's eye is red like the Terminator? Was that a mistake, or what does that mean?
I think it's showing. I think here's the thing. I think it kind of goes back to this idea that I think where it kind of hints maybe to his demonic powers, whether it comes from the tablet of time or whatever it is, or if it's actually the centipede himself. Because I think there's some kind of possession thing going on too. Like maybe he's become a vessel for whatever these centipede demonic things are or something. I mean, that's the only thing because I can't at this point, I cannot see them trying to go this too complicated route that there's two Harrys or somehow I don't know. I don't know if Spencer will do that, because I think they might go with a whole, it's got to be something Norman related to basically bring this about, and then whatever who knows. But again, that's the frustrating thing. How does this connect to One More Day in terms of like why Carrie knows and all this other stuff, which is kind of that's the frustrating thing.
By the way, here's 58's cover. It doesn't say variant on it. That's Mr. Negative's guys going after him.
Mm-hmm.
So, wonder what that means.
Yep.
There's the cover.
Yep.
Interesting.
Well, spoiler alert. Thanks.
One era of Nick Spencer's run comes to a shocking end, but the seeds that he's planted along the way for the next start to bloom don't miss his pivotal issue.
Oh,
We've
man.
got seeds. JR, are you growing? Oh, that sounds weird.
Whoa, what? Wait a minute. What?
We've planted the seeds. Are you growing, JR? Is you?
I
Just
don't
nod
want to
your head.
touch that
Nod
one.
your head, JR. Just nod your head.
All right.
Before
Before we move on, I want everybody to get a preview of the issue that's coming out this coming week. So over on Superhero Hype, they have a preview. The Spider Losers all have Sin Eater masks on them. It's an LR issue, so George won't be picking this one up.
Literally nothing will happen in
The
this.
very first page is a JMD Mateus and Sal Buscema.
They're reprinting that. They're
reprinting that right
from
from
200.
That's
Yep.
from Spec 200 right there.
And a
Where-
spoiler alert, that is a married Mary Jane. Can't unforget that. That is a married.
Can you see the
Mary
ring?
Jane.
No, they were just in a committed relationship.
Anyway, Harry, as the Goblin, takes her up to the bridge where when Stacy dies. Then it opens up with Kindred talking. It'll be Superhero Hype. I can't blow this up. Let me increase my browser. Well, that didn't help it.
That did not.
Right.
Much better,
Right,
Brad.
Brad, right click on it and then do open image in a new tab.
It won't let me on that. I
It won't
tried
let
it.
you?
Here. It won't let me.
Okay.
So Superhero
That's
Hype.
worthless then. Yeah.
This does not work. It'll be so. I can't read the caption. Superhero Hype. Here, let me close. Nope. Watch the gallery. Okay, let me watch the gallery. Superhero Hype. Come on. What does this do? No, that does nothing. Okay, well, they're the only site that gives you a preview of this issue. So there's one page, very tiny. There's another page.
Man, Finnear looks kind of, roided.
What the hell is that all
Looks
about?
very roided. The Spider Friends are going to fight him in a cemetery. Where's Doctor Strange to tell them they're losers? I don't see him anywhere.
Doctor Strange is still in the astral plane.
And
remember?
the astral
Yeah.
plane.
He was beating ass and told them to get out of there. And no, we have to help you. And he's like, no, really, that's cute. No, you really don't.
All right, so
That's darling.
So we'll be cleansed, I think is what Cinears is saying to all the spider losers. Oh, and there you go. That's your preview. So, any thoughts on that one? Are we cleansing the spider friends?
I'm not going to give thoughts on a preview.
That was such a bad visual.
Not really enough to go on.
Senator is going to lose and he's going to lose rather in a very pathetic fashion from very pathetic sidekicks. That's basically what it is.
Bad, pathetic sidekicks. All right.
Hey, Shy Down. That comes out
sure.
Wednesday, and Christmas Eve is Thursday. So you need to get on the ball and get that review out.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have time to do whatever.
How long did it take you to do the last review? Like 2 days? 2 days? Took you 2 days?
It's an all-day deal. That's how I used to do it, guys.
You know, it's an
all-day deal.
No one cares. I can go a month without it, and no one would give a care.
Whatever. By the way, our friend Bruce, who we showed off his spider collectibles, he's decorated for Christmas. Let's take a look at his spider decorations for Christmas. Look at that.
Nice.
Ooh.
Got that in his house. He just shared that with me. Look at his spider Christmas tree here.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all those ornaments. Anybody got some? I've got this ornament right here where it's on a couple branches.
You know, instead of elf on a shelf, they could have a goblin on a toboggan.
We'll take another. He sent me another picture. There you go. There, it's lit up.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, there it is.
Look at that spider! Look at that! The light at the top. Look at that.
Yep.
I
the Christmas
love
star.
that, Bruce. That's so cool, man.
That's
That's
cool.
Very neat. Thanks for sharing that. We'll take a couple questions before we wrap up. Maybe about 10 minutes worth of questions. So if you want to ask us some questions, let's see.
I have a question for you guys while we're waiting for them to ask questions.
Feel free.
All right. So Marvel fandom says that Mephisto did not change history. He merged Earth 81545 in so that we have the Peter Parker that never got married. And they kind of merged those two realities together. I know that they usually use temporary numbers when they don't have something official from Marvel, but they have this as an official Earth. I can't find anywhere any Marvel official handbook or anything that mentions it. Do you guys know where they would have found that to be official? Because my theory is that this Kindred that we have is the real Kindred, and the Harry Lyman that we have is the real Harry, and the Harry Lyman that we have is the one from Earth 81545.
From the one where Peter and Mary Jane didn't get married.
I
see. Yeah, that. By the way, coming up, we haven't set a date yet, but Mark did an incredible job. I don't have the tab up at the moment. Mark, let me pull it up.
Not just me.
Oh, Mark and Grant both did a great job with their recent cobwebs.
Let's not get carried away. It's probably mostly Mark. Come on. I mean, how much help is Grant Alford gonna give?
Hey, we are a team, man.
Boy. So anyway, they went through on his recent Cobwebs article every Spider-Man ever. So, there's Dr. Strange just trying to count them all. So he added some, and then where's the Word doc? Oh, they're right here. Okay. Is this it, Mark?
That's it.
Okay. Let me see if it opens up in the right tab. Okay. So he made a Google Doc. The Crawl Space presents the Spider-Verse. And we're going to do a show maybe next week or so, or week after, where we go over all this research.
Wow.
That you and Grant did. By
Someone
name.
has a lot of time on their hands.
By the way, you cited your sources as usual. These have been labeled, haven't they?
That's right. You can go and you can read the issue that they first appeared in. Yeah,
and they mention what Earth these spider people are from. Where did it say this one, I wonder? I don't remember. Anyway, where the Marvel and the DC universe exist together. That's just interesting. But we're going to go over that. That'll be a neat show with you and your son. So I highly encourage you to go over and read that. Cobwebs number 70, I think is what its number is.
Wait, you're going to bring Grant onto the show?
I am.
Yeah, we want to get some more talent on here. I mean, we were dragging the bottom here. We had to pick up Chi-Town, we can do better.
Let's see.
Haters be hating.
Grant he was more help than George was.
Yeah, the best part of being on the actual podcast and being able to throw shade at Grant is that Grant can't respond and like verbally in real time on the show.
Oh my god. Matt wants to know our favorite Spider-Man Christmas issue?
Oh, clearly Stegron.
Ooh.
Oh, Peter David's. Peter David's. You better watch out.
Yeah.
He's in there with Candy, Bambi, and Randy, and Santa
Like the one
Claus.
with Santa Claus on the cover with the gun.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that one.
That's an awesome one.
The only ones I can name, I mean, of course, he was in the Marvel holiday specials that none of them really come to mind. But I remember ASM 314, him and Mary Jane got kicked out of their hotel. That was set up around Christmas.
That's the one I remember too.
There's Marvel Team Up #1 where him and Human Torch fought the Sandman. That happened at Christmas. George mentioned Stegron and the Lizard and Spidey all fought.
Amazing Spider-Man 165 and 166.
There you go. And 160.
What issue was when Anna Watson was befriending the next door neighbor whose kid was deaf? I forgot which one that was. But that happened around Christmas too.
There's one in Spec where Ock looks in on Aunt May and it's snowing outside at like 170 something. Help me, JR, on that one.
It's like it's like spectacular 170 something or other. Yeah.
I always like the Marvel Team Up #1. It launched the title.
Yeah.
And
Well, not only that, but it was the first appearance of Misty Knight, right, George?
Misty Knight.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, retroactively,
Yeah.
her first appearance. So.
Yeah, she wasn't actually named in that issue, and then later on, you found out that that's who it was.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to go to bed. I'm really tired. So
Yeah,
I got to go. I got to go polish my head. So
got to go find the turtle wax out in the garage.
JR, I will see you in 2021. You have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
All right, and the same to all of you guys.
See you guys.
Merry Christmas, guys.
I'm gonna head out as well and go
Are
ahead.
you leaving too?
Yeah,
Mark
I
and
am.
Chi-Town, do you want to take some questions with me?
Sure.
Yeah.
why not?
Okay.
I was
Mike,
going
you
to
out
say.
also?
Yeah, I'm going to say
Merry
good night,
Christmas,
folks.
George.
Merry Christmas. Merry
Hi,
Christmas,
George and
all
Mike. I'll
guys.
see you. Merry Christmas.
Happy New
Merry
Year.
Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. Goodbye and goodbye, YouTube chat.
See you
Don't
later.
forget our gift exchange.
Go watch that show. That was fun. All right.
bye.
See you, fellas. All right.
Finally,
All right.
gone.
Now it was me and the ASM reviewers answering questions. Okay. We got later, George. Merry Christmas. Later, JR. Night, JR. Does anyone watch the Expanse TV show? I have no idea what that is. Oh, yeah. There's a Marvel Team Up with the Watcher. I remember that one. Like 127 or something.
There was a what if with the Watcher that takes place at Christmas, but I don't know if it was Spider-Man. Now I'm thinking about it.
Oh, yeah. There's a Nate Gray one, an X-Man, where he spent the Christmas with Peter and Mary Jane. I do remember that one. Let's see. Feel free. We'll answer a couple more questions.
Wasn't there, Brad? Wasn't there like one of those novels that featured around Christmas? I'm not sure.
Gosh, I don't.
I think so because Spider-Man. I remember one paragraph when they were Spider-Man was out in the cold and they asked him, "How do you stay warm?" And Spider-Man goes, "Thoughts of justice keep me warm, good citizen."
It may have been in one of those short story books, like before Ultimate Spider-Man was Ultimate Spider-Man.
I don't think it was in Ultimate Spider. I think it was in a different one.
But yeah, I love those pros.
Hey, you want to be famous? If we buy followers, primes, and viewers, we'll be famous. Look at that.
Oh, Twitch gives me so much spam sometimes. The other ones. Mary wants to know what I think the most recent issue of Immortal Hulk with the Thing. I haven't read the one that came out Wednesday. My box is going to get here this coming week. But love Immortal Hulk, Mary. Just love that book. I like that cover that Alex Ross did of that issue where they're sitting in the diner in the little booth side by side. So I thought that was good.
I've been reading those on Marvel Unlimited, so I'm
what do you
behind.
think?
They're
What do you
good.
think?
I'm enjoying them. I'm really liking them.
King Hillbilly says, I love the novels. Been getting a bunch on Audible. King, I think we're talking about the '90s ones, and
Yeah.
not many of those have been on books on. I call them books on tape, but Audible.
You go
If
to
you
a
can find-
bookstore, they're right there.
Yeah, we're not talking about the ones that are currently out. So if you want to go back, I'm sure you can buy them on eBay. But they're really good, especially the Sinister Six trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
That one's really good. That's where they introduced the Gentleman, who was briefly in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. They never got around to telling his story, but I would check those out. Question from Adam. When do you guys think we will find out how Harry became Kindred? Soon or much later? I think it's coming up.
I think
Much
it's in
later.
55.
You much later? I think by January we'll know. By the end of
Yeah, I
January we're going to know. No?
I think the 55 is going to bring up the fact that he's had that deal with Mephisto, and then Kindred's just going to be another slow burn in the background for the next year.
Oh. So by the renumbering of 100, you think we'll wrap it up?
I don't know.
Oh. That's talk about padded.
Yeah.
If
I
that
don't know if
happens,
we'll go as far as all the way to 100 because that'd be what another 2 years, right? So
that'd
I
be-
mean that's
that'd be
a
40
bit much,
issues.
but
Maybe.
I don't think he's. I definitely don't think we're going to wrap that one up for a while.
Really, Chi-Town, you disagree?
I think we'll definitely know what's going on with the deal with Mephisto one more day. By 55, he may do that where we find out how Harry became the villain. Mark, you keep me honest here. Didn't Kindred blame Peter for turning him into a demon?
He's blaming Peter for a lot of stuff. Like he blamed Peter for Jean the Wolf's death, and Peter had nothing to do with that one. I don't know. Yeah, he's just yeah. His whole mindset is not quite in line with reality. So if he had blamed him for that, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Grant is watching. He says this issue is a good one. I don't remember this one. This one was during the Clone Saga because Ben Reilly's on the cover.
Yeah.
What happened in that one, Grant? Do you guys remember?
I don't remember that one.
I think I remember the exchange between Human Torch and
I can remember buying that one.
It's A Matter of Faith by Glenn Greenberg. The Cat Who Stole Christmas. The Venom Claws. Merry Christmas, Mr. Storm. Companions. So I don't remember. I have that one.
What's the title of it?
Well, there's a bunch of short stories.
No, the
Spider-Man
issue.
Holiday Special 1995.
All right, I'll have to see if I can't find that on Marvel Unlimited or something.
Yeah. Not sure if it's in there. Adam says, yeah, I can see this dragging out even further. There
you go, Adam.
There you
All
go.
right.
Any advice on taking care of an omnibus spine? Was gifted John Byrne's Fantastic Four omnibus. What is it? Tearing up? Is it like splitting on you? Is it not bonded very well, Jonathan? I've only got one big omnibus, and that's Secret Wars 2, which people make fun of. But
clear Gorilla Tape. Go to Walmart, get clear. I'm telling you, that's what they use in libraries. They use that clear, strong tape.
Yep.
And they put it on the spine, and it keeps looking nice. And I mean, you can tell there's tape on it, but it doesn't look like Scotch tape. I mean, you can
keeps the pages together, huh?
keep the pages together. Yeah.
That's sad. You pay $125 for an omnibus, and the damn thing falls apart in your hands.
Yeah,
that's awful. If Spencer, this is from Heroing, does any more padding with the Kindred storyline, will it affect your overall liking of Spencer's run? Yes, I think it will.
No.
Well,
he's already.
How can it not?
Well, okay. So Spencer has planted so many seeds in
Yeah.
all of his comics, especially with Amazing. I'm not talking about what he's written in the past. Just on focusing on ASM, Amazing Spider-Man. Every subplot or seed that he's planted, he has come to a fruition where it's been addressed or completed. Or, I mean, we found out what Boomerang was doing and what he was after and what was going on with that. By 55, we're going to find out, from issue number 1, Peter saying there's something missing and there's Mary Jane's finger. We're going to find out about that. Or eventually, hopefully, we'll find about Kindred. We found out about Kingpin and what he wanted so far. Everything that he's mentioned and saying Just wait a couple more issues and we'll address this issue. He has addressed it. So far, I am loving Spencer's run. Now, there's been some hits or miss, but I'm still loving it. I'm still enjoying it.
I like it also. However, when you pad out a story longer than it needs to be told, I cannot not be affected by that. I mean, I don't like things drug out, pointless LR issues, spider losers. I don't need, if it's a choose your own adventure, I don't need to go down and hang a left to get back to the right spot.
But we've had that for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And so if I continue to get that, it's not going to change my opinion of his run. Would I like for him to speed it up a little bit, maybe compress it some more and give me a little bit more Boomerang in the background? You know, a little bit more of Gog biting Randy every time Randy walks into a room. Yeah, I would love that stuff. But I like what I'm getting right now. And if this is what I have to put up with, not to have a slot come in or a Sadarsky coming in and writing about Teresa Parker, you know, then I'll take it. I'll take it all day long.
I miss the supporting cast. I miss. When was the last time we checked in on Aunt May?
That's disappointing.
When was the last time we checked in on Robbie?
Yeah, it's very disappointing that we haven't seen Aunt May, because they brought in that whole cancer storyline and it was going to be big, and Peter never goes and sees her that we can tell.
No.
Well, in Friendly Neighborhood, he did, and then she was in remission.
Yeah,
that's about it. And then I believe it was issue 31 where Peter, had the proposal ring for the first time, and Aunt May's like, I think, handed it to him. Like, you know what you need to do. That's the last time we saw Aunt May, I believe.
Man,
I really do wish we had a good secondary title that we could just play out some of those stories.
You mean the can't start? I mean, nonstop Spider-Man that won't start. Gary wants to know, when we read Spider-Man comics, whose voice do you hear for the character?
Josh Keaton.
Dan Gilvazan from Amazing Friends. Mark?
Chi-Town from Crawl Space.
Thank you, Mark.
Hornacek hears Yuri Lowenthal. That's a good Spider-Man. Jonathan hears the 90s voice. Grant says that issue had a gift exchange on the Statue of Liberty between Spider-Man and Human Torch. Oh, yeah. Scarlet Spider says, you're different, aren't you? I remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
And Venom dresses as Santa. Scarlet Spider saves a little girl, and they have a heart-to-heart. I remember that one.
Wait a minute. I know a great Christmas issue.
What's that?
The Dallas newspaper one, where Kingpin dresses up as Santa so he can come in and steal that charity.
I remember that one.
Funny.
Adam wants to know, he's been reading Spidey 2099 trades. Keep wondering whose voice I should be hearing when reading his dialogue.
Christopher Daniel Barnes for that one.
Oh, because of the video game? Yeah. King Hillbilly says, don't feel bad about that Secret Wars 2 omnibus. He paid money for the hardback of Atlantis Attacks. Oof. Hey, man. We all like weird things. Man. All like the weird things.
Hey, King Hillbilly, if you've got that much money to throw away, visit Patreon.
/ Crawl Space. And hear us review some really bad spatter satellites every month.
We get much more better entertainment.
Hoo-ha! Spencer's run will depend how much I enjoy the issues, whether or not they deal with Kindred. Very true. Alex wants to know any A, B, C, or D, or any B, C, D list villains you most want to see in Spencer's run.
Ooh.
We saw the Gibbon. That's pretty much a Z list.
Oh, Mark territory.
Hypno Hustler.
Hypno Hustler. I've been reading Spec that started in 76. I've been reading that on Marvel Unlimited. I haven't read those in years. I'm up to about issue 30. I'd forgotten that Carrion was Miles Warren clone. I'd forgotten that. I'd forgotten that story. I reread the Hypno Hustler the other day. I'm enjoying that. I've got a complete run in print. I like what Marvel Unlimited does and cleans up the images, and they're much easier to read.
I tell you what I'd like to see. What? We know that Boomerang has a gone hero. And we know that Overdrive always wanted to be a hero. And now that
Right.
he's had a chance to have his sins cleansed from him, I'm hoping we're going to see Boomerang and Overdrive team up and constantly try to pull Spider-Man into their little heroing adventures and stuff, and just flop it every time.
Instead of Marvel team up, a loser team up.
What Mark just said, what you just said, pal. That's like putting me and you in a Spider-Man comic book.
That would be awesome.
I'd read it. Adam says Spencer's run is pretty great. Easily the best on ASM since JMS. I'll give you that. I agree, Adam. Hornacek says, I agree, but that's a low bar when you compare it to Slot's run. It's basically Slot and Brand New Day hacks, says Adam. I feel like Kindred is the only part drawn out. So the additional arcs outside of that will matter. Better than Slot, but I agree he's dragging it out. Aunt May probably died during all this, is what happened.
Yeah, you know what? I believe it.
She died off panel, been in the books for nearly 60 years, and died. And we didn't even have an LR issue for the funeral. Oh my God, Adam!
Can you see Peter's reaction if that were to gap?
How long have I been gone? This whole broad. Well, she's been dying since the 60s, Pete.
Whip me.
Whip me, indeed. Hornacek, the problem is the counter wants us to think that the Order of the Web is the new supporting cast. I agree. He needs people that are.
Yeah. I think they would like for Batman's family to kind of be like Spider-Man family type thing.
No,
I don't think it works.
Aunt May died on the way back to her home planet. Adam says they can barely sell those chumps in their own books. That's very true. Very true. King Hillbilly, Spider-Man's always had such a great supporting cast. That's why I never understood why new writers try to make their own. What's the newest supporting cast that's stuck around? I guess, in fairness to Slot, we've got Nora Winters came back, right?
Yeah, she came back.
Kinda. We've got Carly Cooper came back, but that's not that far gone. One that was introduced. Jerry Conway introduced Glory Grant. She's stuck around.
Yeah, we haven't seen her there in a while.
Yeah, it's true.
Is she secretary to Kingpin?
No. She was Jonah's secretary, replaced Betty. Yeah. Adam, wow. Venom dresses as Santa. Wonder if that will make the next Sony's Venom movie. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Mary wants to know our current opinion of the state of DC Comics reading that Dark Knight's Metal. I'm not, Mary.
I am not either. I think DC, when they came out was Rebirth, it was very interesting and I liked it. But now they seem to be doing like another Rebirth and I just can't keep up. No.
I've got a subscription just recently to the DC Universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I've reading all the Flash. I read all the Batman up to where they are there. Read all the Watchmen.
How far back do those books go?
A year. So whereas Marvel Unlimited was 6 months, they're a year. And then so they're moving up to 6 months in January. And Marvel, that's when Marvel went, oh, yeah, y'all move 6 months. We're doing 3. Ha.
No, I'm talking about how far of a back issue do they go?
Oh, they
Batman.
go. I don't know. I started with the Rebirth, but they have some really 90s? Old ones. They have some old ones on there. I don't know how far back they go. It's like Marvel Unlimited, where they're constantly trying to log in, and get them in there.
I subscribe to one DC comic, and it's Batman. And I've not bought Batman in 2 months because he's off on some. I don't know what's going on with Batman, but the regular storyline stopped. The numbering stopped. So did I. So they're losing my money for spoiler. But
it was a year ago at least, because I can't read anything closer.
I know. But I don't know when Batman's coming back. I read that Detective's getting new creative team, but I haven't heard anything if they're relaunching Batman, just the adjectiveless Batman. Well, I'm thinking of Spider-Man. Batman doesn't have adjectives, does he? He's not the amazing Batman. He's not the I guess he's Dark Knight Batman, but that's not a book. I don't know.
The greatest detective in the world.
Yeah. Anyway, Mary, that's my thoughts. I haven't been buying DC in 2 months because they're off on some little spiel. I don't understand. Marvel likes Atlantis Attack so much they're doing it again right now. Yes. Alex wants Stiltman to be in the comics. Adam says Bill Mantlow's spec is pretty good. I agree. Bill Mantlow's writing it right now. So he wrote it pretty much up to the issue, 100? I think.
I'm not sure.
I think so. Boomerang's and Overdrive's team names will be BO. I like that. Good one, Hornacek. Sofalo says, I think Spencer would undo one more day, but editorial will not allow it. Oh, there you go.
You know what? Joe Quesada did say on Twitter a while back, pretty far backward, when Spencer was writing, I believe, issues 10 to, let's just say 15, he's saying, hey, Spider fans, we good now? So.
Oh, he has been?
Yeah, he did say that. And he's like, are we good now? You know, because he's been blamed for not the death of Spider-Man, the destruction of Spider-Man.
Wow.
And he's like, we got them back together. Things are going smoothly. Are we good now?
No, we're not. You know, he's still got to deal with the devil. You got to. Yep. I mean, that's a. I don't know. I would take the deal with the devil being resolved and them still dating. I think that would be a nice compromise between the two.
I don't think they'll be remarried. Maybe they may be married, but keep it like, yeah, we were married all this time and we don't have to have another wedding, or maybe like a renew your vows type of thing. Yeah. I don't know.
Alex wants to know who we'd cast as Tombstone in a Sam Raimi movie. Wow, no actors come to mind. How about The Rock?
No.
Would The Rock work? No.
No.
Is he too buff? Oh no.
What about Vin Diesel?
Yeah, Vin Diesel would work. What do you think, Mark? Vin Diesel?
I'm not really good at casting. That would be the wrong job for me.
Yeah. Harry could bring back Aunt May. Yeah, there you go. Matt wants to know if there's any comics in our collection so bad you can't believe you actually paid money for it. Matt, my answer. The dance plot ones. Mark, what is that awful ASM 1.5 storyline that you
Amazing
reviewed?
Grace.
That was
Amazing
so
Grace.
bad.
You made. I was not going to use. You had just asked me to start doing Amazing Spider-Man reviews, and then you said, "Have you gotten to the Amazing Grace?" And I said, "I'm not even reading those." He goes, "Oh yeah, I need you to go do those." And so I had to go out and buy those stinking things.
They're so bad.
It was worse than Slot.
It was really bad. Grant says Aunt May has been dating Willie Lumpkin again. That's why we haven't seen her. Well, Willie Lumpkin's been working hard this Christmas, delivering all those Amazon packages to the Baxter building. Jonathan says it'd be great if Aunt May found out that Peter did and insists he needs to be ready to let her go, that he can't escape destiny.
Yeah, I mean, if Aunt May knew what happened, she would never, ever, ever allow that at all.
Yeah, I would agree.
That would be an interesting exchange.
Yeah. Grant,
and I would think that he might want to go there if they had actually been using her, showing her in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would think that's definitely where they're going to go. So, but I don't see it happening.
Grant says the Question is the greatest detective, not Batman. The Question is a Ditko creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
I was trying to find. I can't find it on my phone here. Grant dressed up as the Question one time for Free Comic Book Day.
Oh, that's funny.
And we walked into a comic book store that was close to a college here in North Carolina. And as soon as we did, they had all these girls from the college dressed up as Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, so that. And as soon as they saw him, they all came over there and wanted to take their picture with him. And even though you couldn't see his face because it was all that, the Question thing, I could tell he was smiling ear to ear. That was an awesome costume he had.
Nice.
He
The
made
more
it.
important question, Mark, is what did you dress up as?
I dressed up as the Question's father.
Uh-huh.
Well, if he's the Question, you're the answer, right? Adam says they're going back to regular numbering after those 2 issues. I've been looking at the previews. I get my books from Discount Comic Book Service, Deep CBS, and I haven't seen any Batman solicitations. So anyway. Hornacek says Milgram took over writing spec after Mantlo before 100. Mantlo wrote about to issue 88 of spec. Adam says, yeah, we're not good with you, Joey Q. Not until the marriage is back, Joe Q. Alex goes, which would you guys like to see more? A Spider-Man animated series continuation or a spectacular revival?
Spec revival.
Yep.
Alex, why did you not include Amazing Friends, my friend? Come on. I want to see more Spider Friends going for it. All right. Ms. Lion. By the way, did you guys see that Firestar Marvel Legends?
Yes.
Holy cow. With the Ms. Lion in there and the back of the that's so
And
beautiful.
you pre-ordered it, didn't you?
Pre-ordered it, baby.
Yeah.
Pre-ordered. I haven't bought a Marvel Legends probably in 10 years. But you put Ms. Lion in there. Paid $20 for a plastic dog. Sounds like a bad Hallmark movie.
I put that image of Spider-Man kicking Spider-Man or Ben Reilly kicking Miss Lion in one of the review, and you came on and told me, I forgot, it was like in your comment, yeah, we will not be having that image again or something.
I don't remember what issue. What
What
issue?
I don't remember what the issue
was? Oh my
was.
gosh, that was hysterical. Josh says, I found Amazing Grace to be more mediocre and pointless than anything else. I agree. Mary wants to know, did you see the Marvel 616 show on Disney Plus? Did you see that episode that focused on Slott and Marvel Method? Slott was portrayed so unprofessional. We did, Mary.
Yeah.
We did.
I actually, the Crossface told me about it, so I wouldn't have to watch it. So.
In one aspect, I understand what they did, and I think Dan Slott took a hit on it to make some tension in the story. So I don't think everything you're seeing is true, but if I was Dan Slott, I would not be satisfied with the edit of that documentary. It made him look very, very unprofessional and bad.
I think it may have made him look exactly how he comes across. You know,
Yeah.
He sure seems to me like somebody who never really was accepted a lot. And so he tries extra hard to be accepted. And now that he's made it big, he's still in that over the top. I gotta, act overly cool all the time.
It just didn't. It did not make him look good at all, and it showed a writer who can't. And I apologize, and I don't want to personally insult Slott, which I try to avoid on here, but it shows that he can't do his job. So he has to have Christos Gage come in and rescue him. And that's what the documentary showed. And by Slott being slow to writing the plots, it affects the other members of the team. And I think a lot of it was added to a documentary to give it a little, I don't know. What's the word?
Drama.
Yeah, drama. That's the word. It was added to get a little bit of drama in there. But I think there's a bit of truth to what we saw too.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a little bit of fiction. I think there's a little bit of truth. Oh, did you find it?
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at all those Marvel women around your son. Look at that. Yep, he's smiling. I can see it. Adam says, yeah, we're going to do Spider News on Slot 616. Yeah, Adam, I've run out of month. I've recorded so many shows this month. I did the Spider Collector. I did this cosplay. I did Satellites. I did Spider History. I did Spider Friday Night Fights. I'm up to 5 or 6. I'm running out of shows, Adam, and time for me to do them. I think I've recorded a show every month, every weekend in December. So probably in January, I think that would be a good topic to talk about. I know it's late, but we can talk about that Slot episode of Disney Plus. We can also talk about all the casting. The Tobey Maguire is coming back. The possibly Andrew Garfield coming back. Willem Dafoe coming back, possibly.
Kirsten Dunst coming back, yeah.
We've got Doc Ock confirmed coming back. We've got Electro coming back. So we can talk about. We'll do a Spider News definitely in January. I've run out of month, man. I've run out of month, and I'm going to do another. I'm going to do another show with Mark this month before my Christmas break. My editing of these shows is getting behind because I'm producing so much. So
you actually edit them?
Shut up. Let's see. Alex says he watched that episode covering the Japanese Spidey show. I haven't seen that one. King Hillbilly says, I think Slot thinks it's cute. I felt bad for the people who work with him. I did too. How can you not, after watching that documentary, not feel bad for the letterer that writes the dialogue, the colorist, etc., the multiple people that in the pipeline when you produce the sausage, and you don't ever want to see how the sausage is made, how much it gets held up to the other people that have jobs to do. So again, I think
keep meaning to write the letter. I want to ask him some questions, maybe put it on a cobwebs or something. I think it's pretty neat that he is the Spider-Man letterer. I mean, he does them all. It's kind of interesting there for me.
He does.
Only one
he does.
letterer.
What do you mean he does them all?
He does every time there's a Spider-Man book. It's Joe Caramanga who's doing the lettering for it.
He's the lettery guy. Yeah. I was going to say, if you want a letter written to Marvel, you might have Chi-Town write it. It'll get printed. Let's see. We got Hornacek. Man, these questions are just coming in. I think I read somewhere that John Semper's plans for Animated Series Season 6 was to have Spidey traveling through time with Carnage as Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, that is true. I think you have to pay to get that.
It's like a Patreon deal for John Semper.
Yeah, John Semper. I mean, he wrote the script. Some of the actors did do the dialogue. The rest you have to read through. But he finds Mary Jane. Yeah.
Alex says Kate Winslet is Firestar in the Sam Raimi movie because her and McGuire made out in that stupid horse. You mean Secretariat?
Seabiscuit.
Okay. Oh, so yeah, Seabiscuit, not Secretariat. Yeah. Slot just likes any attention that he can get, says Adam. Jonathan agrees. When I tried to point that stuff out about Slot to Brevoort on Twitter, he just brushed it all off. Yeah, what's he going to do? He's like, did you expect Brevoort to say, yeah, we keep him around still, Mary says, thank you, Brad, for all your hard work. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. King Hill, I really don't want to see another Spider-Verse, even if it's in MCU. I kind of want to see Maguire and Holland and Garfield all on the same screen. I think that would be cool. What do you guys think? You like that?
As long as Toby gets to, slap Holland and say, be your own man, I'm fine with that.
Jonathan says, thank you, Brad and crew. Adam says, thank you for all your work on the podcast, Brad. Alex says, I want a gritty Scarlet Spider cartoon done in a similar vein to HBO Spawn. Really? You want Ben Reilly walking around cussing and killing? Cussing and killing. On tonight's episode of Scarlet Spider, he beats the dough. No. I mean, come on. Jonathan says, yeah, multiverses always feel like a move you make when you run out of story ideas. Jonathan,
I don't know. I liked it when they did it in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. I wasn't a big fan of the 91, but I thought that was fun. And so when Slot started advertising they were going to be doing it in the comics, I got excited despite the fact I knew that Slot was writing it because I was thinking this is going to be great. And
and then like a fart in church. Mark, I think you and I, maybe Chi-Town, are just a little too old for that 90s show. A lot of people, probably 10 years younger than we are, love that 90s show. I'm just okay with it. It didn't knock my socks off. Of course, I was in college at the time when it came out, but Amazing Friends is it for me.
I was in high school, like later years in high school when it came out, and the one thing that really bugged me about that show was the reusing of scenes in like almost every episode.
Are you talking about the 60s show or the 90s?
No. I mean, the 60s, yeah.
60s, he was swinging the same buildings every time.
But we're in the 90s now, and cartoons are supposed to be better. And when I saw Batman the Animated Series, which is gold, I wanted something with Spider-Man, and then X-Men came along, gold, and then we saw Spider-Man, and like, wait a minute, they used that scene in Night of the Lizard, and they used, they seen in the
They cut
Spider
and pasted, yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of cut and pasting, so I got a little tired of that, especially during the Neogenic
And
recombinant.
Mary Jane in the same yellow outfit, and Peter in the same shirt.
I mean, that's cartoon 101. They did that on Spec too, which was gold, but
yeah,
at least they didn't use the reused scenes and the different color plated. He's swinging in day, he's red and blue, and then you see pink and light blue in the next scene, and then back to red and blue. So
yeah. Well, nothing beat the web swinging in the '60s, though.
No,
I mean, okay, well, I can do it from memory. He's coming straight towards the camera. He's like looks this way and shoots a web. Then he climbs a wall, and then he's wide shot.
Yeah,
yeah, and he's above the buildings.
Yes,
and swinging on. I don't know what he's swinging on.
Swinging on clouds.
He swings on the building, fires,
and then he lands on it, and then looks to the back. Like we all know the same images.
In the 60s, you get that they didn't really, but in the 90s they could have upped it up a little bit.
Yeah. Adam says the 90s show is good. I was a little too old for it. Was a sophomore in high school when it came out. Yeah, I get it. I mean, like I said, the people in their mid 20s, 30s, probably that's their Spider-Man show, and much love to.
I was 25.
Yeah, I was in my 20s also. I tried watching the animated series and couldn't get back into it, but I can rewatch Spec so often. I agree, Fear the Bean. Spec is awesome. Yeah. Alex, if I wrote a continuation of the animated series, I'd finally have Peter hook up with Felicia. Screw Mary Jane. You can remain stranded in Victorian England. What do you like? What do you think of that, Peter?
Well, I could say something, screw something.
Stop.
Alex, we all have different opinions.
I guess you could read that.
Wrong, but
I guess you could read it as he hooked up with Felicia, and then he screwed Mary Jane.
If he meant that, sure. But Alex, if you notice that in Amazing Spider-Man, that's cartoon series, Felicia hooked up with Morbius. So
that's
Mike Morbius.
Hornacek, that 90s show was unique at times because they had continuity. Stories carried over multiple episodes of season, not like the previous Spidey cartoons. I agree with that, Hornacek. That was a good thing, and X-Men introduced that with them in the 90s. Yeah. Uncle Rizzo, unpopular opinion. I wasn't a huge fan of Spec. It's not unpopular on this show. George doesn't like Spec either. He thought they did too many changes, like turning Craven into a lion, and what else did they? They changed Liz Oz. Who'd they change? They changed the ethnicity of somebody.
Liz
was, what was her name?
Liz Allen.
Liz Allen to something. Or did they change her name, or did they just change her ethnicity?
I thought they changed her ethnicity.
Okay.
Ethnicity. Liz and Mark. Her brother Mark.
Okay, got it. Grant says nothing beats the Kingpin avoiding Dr. Faust's mind control disc by wearing a neck band-aid. Amazing Friends was a gem. Grant, when I was 7 or 8, that's as good as I thought it was going to be. My brain will not let me look down upon that show, which, speaking of, on Disney Plus, I went back and saw that it was on Disney Plus, Amazing Friends. And they've taken the Red Skull episode down because there's swastikas and Nazis in it. I guess they didn't want to do that. And they also put a warning label in front of the Sunfire. Is that his name?
Yes.
The Sunfire episode that they thought. I haven't watched that episode. I don't know if they are insensitive or racist or whatever. But there's a warning label in front of the Sunfire episodes on Disney Plus.
Well, yeah, they have to do that now because we live in a
area. But I wonder why they didn't just put a warning label in front of the Red Skull episode, because
it's okay to represent Germans as all Germans being Nazis. So you're okay with that?
No, I'm just saying, just put a warning label in front of it.
I'm telling you, that's how it is.
Give it time.
Yeah. Alex is wondering about the menage a trois between Mary Jane and Felicia. All right.
Whoa, what
I
were y'all
think-
talking about when I stepped on? Never mind. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Oh, you-
My son's listening to this. Come on, guys.
He's the one that asked about it.
Yeah. Your son's writing fan fiction right now. I mean, my dad has a VHS tape of the 7 Little Superheroes. I watched a lot when I was little. Still my favorite episodes. Yes. I can hear it in my brain, Grant, of the chameleon saying 7 little superheroes.
I rhymed every freaking line.
Oh, I love that.
That
The
was
one where
of my
Spider-Man
favorite
goes.
cobwebs.
Yes.
I
The one where
I went through and figured out how much it cost him to make all that stuff just to get those
Chameleon.
7 heroes in there.
And of all people, Shoshana? Why Shoshana? That was weird. And you had Namor, you had Cap. I can understand Cap. Who else did we have? Sunfire, was he in there?
No,
No.
he wasn't in there.
Who were the 7?
Okay,
So
so you
Spider-Man,
had Namor,
Firestar, Iceman,
Namor was 4.
Shoshana,
Shoshana 5. Doctor Strange.
and Ms. Lion was the 7th, right?
No,
Yeah.
she was the 8th. She was the 8th.
Who was number 7?
So, all right. Spider-Man, Iceman, Firestar,
Firestar.
Doctor Strange, Captain America,
Shoshana.
Shoshana.
Help us, chat.
Submariner.
Oh, Submariner. And Ms. Lion, I remember.
Because he dove into that pool and it couldn't. I guess you couldn't smell that it was rubbing alcohol.
Maybe he had the corona. Or he can't smell. Poor Namor. Maybe he brought it to the land. I don't know. Really appreciate the extra time, guys. Hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. And you too, Jonathan. I appreciate them. Thank God I got a bootleg version of Amazing Friends, says Christopher. Okay. MJ, Felicia, and Princess Python threesome. Oh my God, Adam. Princess Python all day long. Almost reminds me of the Invaders with Namor and Cap. There you go. Namor, Cap, Strange, Shoshana, Iceman, Firestar, and Spider-Man, Grant says. Fellas, what do you think? Should we wrap it up?
Yep. It's
All right.
almost 1 o'clock here where I am.
I agree. Chat, I appreciate it. All 31 of you watching right now. You've been asking some great questions. So I hope you all have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. While I got you on the line, well, we'll talk about that off air.
Okay.
Lining up the next show with you and Grant, because Grant is in the chat. Here, let's just set the date. When would be a good time, Mark and Grant, that you guys could do a show? When we're talking about that cobwebs, what day would you like to do that? Would you like to do it next week, or you want to do it the week of the 28th?
6 half dozen to me.
Grant, when are you free? Is Grant home with you, by the way?
No,
Grant?
he's in his apartment in Raleigh, or a couple of a county over.
Oh, okay. So you probably guys want to do it on 2 separate computers, so I get 3 webcams.
Yeah.
So, okay. Grant, write in chat when you would like to do the episode, the week of the 21st or the week of the 28th. I don't have a social life. I'm free whenever. Evidently, Grant did not get the numbers of those cosplayers when he was dressed up, so he could get a date. Grant, I say, and Mark, how about we do it the 29th? Let's keep the next week free. I need to edit some stuff, and I'm going to do that. So what about Tuesday the 29th? How about that?
All right. I don't see where that would be a problem.
8 o'clock in the evening. Would that be okay? 8 o'clock
that'd be
Central.
fine.
So that's 9 o'clock
Right,
your time.
9 o'clock where we are. Yeah, that should be fine. If it turns out that it's not, then
Okay.
we'll
Mess or something. Yeah. Okay, Grant. 28th. No, Grant, I said the 28th, not the 29th.
no, you said the 29th.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, you're right. 29th.
That memory is going to come in
The
really
memory game. I need to start. JR needs to ship it damn fast. Sorry. 29th, we will do the looking at the research that you guys did Here, I will show the viewers who are wondering what we're talking about. So go check that out. Grant and Mark did a great job with this. Every Spider-Man ever. I showed them that first Google Doc. Let's take a look at the second one.
Yeah, there's
Four
four
Google Docs.
four
And by
Google
the
Docs.
way, little inside baseball. You added one recently. Talk about that, Grant. I mean, Mark. You added a reality from a comment that you had on the front page.
Yeah. Andrew Bates.
Set you up.
He's the voice of. Well, I wasn't sure what you're talking about because Grant added some that we found after that. But yeah, Andrew Bates is the voice of the Sphero Spider-Man.
What document is that?
Google
The fourth one?
Yeah, it'd be on the fourth one.
Fourth one. Okay.
And so
See, you
add that in there.
So the guy that did the voice of the Sphero Spider-Man, what number is he? Is he? Tell me where I am.
He's all the way at the bottom, and the unofficial ones.
Okay. So let's see. And that was that little toy. It was like Alexa. Let's see if I can find it. Do you have a picture of it?
Yeah, keep going up just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's the well, go back down. Go back down.
Did I miss it?
I don't know. I didn't put its picture.
Oh
Go
my
back
God!
up.
You have the Atari
Yeah,
one? Gee.
Yep. Okay, go back up. That's
Yeah.
the wrong way. Stop. See, it's the it's the very first of the undesignated. So if you see numbers, go down.
Okay. I see numbers. Oh, no designation. There he is. Oh, okay. We just don't have a picture of him yet, but
I should have put a picture of him from up there.
you here's what we're talking about. It's opening. Open up in another tab, but the voice actor
What do you get?
of that little toy wrote in on our front page and said, "Hey, what universe am I in?" So I thought that was kind of cool. So anyway, that'll be fun. So the 29th, I'll make an image. I'll make an event that you guys can watch that. Next week, I'm taking off because I'm done. Like Mark, isn't it nice to have a Chris? Oh, as I remove him. And not the, Mark, isn't it nice to have Christmas break upon us?
I have one more day to work, but yes.
Friday was my last day, so I'm happy. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. This has been a blast. We've been going since 8 o'clock my time. It's now midnight. So peace out.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
Crossroads.
Christmas. Happy holidays, everybody. All right.